Good evening, this is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. It is Sunday night, DJBS night. Well, tonight I'm going to be doing kind of a solo show. I've got a few things I'm going to show you. We're going to kind of do something a little different tonight with part of it. I've had a lot of people asking, basically, what are some of the things we're using when we're doing our show, and I'm just going to talk about some of that in one of the segments tonight. Before that, though, we're going to do the What's New in the Office this week that came into the Disc Jockey News, and I'll kind of wrap things up with just the two segments tonight. So let's get started with What's New in the Office this week. First off, we'll call this our Chauvet show with this part tonight, is because they sent some stuff up that we're going to be doing some videos on and such. What a lot of you might have seen these are a couple of their lasers. These are some of their EZ series of lasers. The EZ with Chauvet is their battery-powered lights, whether it's the EZ Wedge or the EZ Pin or the EZ laser that we're looking at right here. They've got one that is, I think this is the FX one. Yep, this is Laser FX, which basically does a lot of really cool patterns and different things. It kind of can give you that star field, but it does a lot of geometric shapes, what have you, covering a very wide area. And of course, you've got the other that is the RBX, and it says that this one has a red and blue beam laser, and this one is a red and green. So they literally just came in. I just plugged them in for a few seconds and put them back together. But we're going to be doing more videos on that, so we're pretty excited about that. But they're really small lasers, battery operated, 6 hour. They can run for 6 hours. So the idea with something like this that's really kind of cool is that you can get these charged up, and you could go mount them somewhere. Especially the effects one gives you this really cool effect. So you could go as far as putting it up on a ceiling, and you can go set it up for like a high school dance and just do the ceiling and let it do its thing all night long. What I want to do is actually try to do some things where I'm crossing the two as far as on the same area, so that they can do their things back and forth and see how that looks. So I'm really kind of excited about that. But some EZ lasers from the EZ series from Chauvet. Now I'll just set those here. Next, we're going to stay in Chauvet, and we're going to stay with the EZ type fixtures. Now this one I've actually had a little more experience with. This is the new EZ Pin from Chauvet. We actually have the six fixtures in the carry case, which is a soft side carry case with the charger and everything built right into it. Great pin spots. You'll see on that is that they've got this little kind of X, and what it does is it'll actually go and clamp onto the little, from the suspended ceilings, the little supports from that. You can literally go up and clamp, and then of course you can adjust and get these pin spot wherever you want it to go. If you don't want to do that, you can take this off. This comes apart, and it becomes a magnet. I mean, it is a magnet. I don't have anything magnetically that I could probably show you much of anything with that it could stick to. Yeah, this isn't got enough metal. Anyway, it's a very, very strong magnet. We actually got to play with these at the Mobile Beat DJ show here back in February. They were kind of just bringing these out. And what we did is we were taking these in one of the rooms and sticking these up on a ceiling. It was a suspended ceiling. And we were illuminating the stage so we could shoot some videos. Some of you might have seen some of the videos we shot from the Chauvet DJ Academy room. But we were using some of these to help illuminate the speakers just a little bit more so the camera could focus. Gosh, we probably were 40 feet away, and it didn't give it, I mean, truthfully, you look at the size. It didn't give a ton of light, but they're still really, really, really bright. And they did a nice job of illuminating the face. Yeah, that's a scary thing for you to take a look at. But what's really kind of cool, not only, they can mount and such, but they're IR controlled. So literally, if I can see that, there we go. We can hit the blackout. There we go. Again, IR is the kind of line of sight, more line of sight, because the little is right down in there. So it's got to see it to that. And where is that dimming? It has different levels, and I'm going to probably shine it on my shirt maybe a little bit more. See if you can see the different. There you go. You can see it. It has some different. It has a little bit of dimming capability with it also. But the idea that you can go and put these up. magnetic. They can go anywhere. I actually have a venue that is an old barn, literally a barn that we're going to be using these in. And what we're going to do is the barn is put together. The big beams are bolted, and they've got these big, heavy iron bolts. So what we're going to do with this is we're actually going to go and literally put this right on the head of the bolt, not on the nut side of the bolt. We're going to put these, and they'll suspend there. And then I'll have them aimed so that they will help to illuminate when the bride and groom are introduced into the room, because I have 2 different walkways, and we're going to have them coming in. So on the far end of the room, about that 40 feet away, I will have these on. And of course, you're looking at about 3 feet, and we're getting about, maybe a 6-inch. So if I'm taking that times, instead of 3 feet, if I'm out 30 to 40 feet, I should have a nice 6 foot 5 to 6 foot circle somewhere in that ballpark. 4 to 5, somewhere in there. So I'll take there's 6, so I'm going to take 3 and do one kind of opening, and take 3 and do the other. But they're going to be mounted on these bolts around the room. So just before the introductions, I will go and do they'll be on. I'll have them on blackout, and just before the introductions, I can go turn them all back on and introduce, and as soon as I'm over, I can go shut them up, hit the blackout again, shut them off, do what we need to do, and once things settle down a little bit, I can just kind of nonchalantly walk through and just go bloop, 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 and take all 6 of them down, because again, magnetic, they'll quick and easy. So anyway, we'll be doing more videos on the EZ lights here that have come in from Chauvet DJ. I'm really excited. Love the battery operated concepts and the ideas, and everything so far I've been working with, playing with, and touching in that EZ series has been some really cool stuff. So looking forward to that. Now for our final segment of the night, we're going to talk about kind of what we're using when it comes to doing our recording and things here with the Disc Jockey News. Some of you have seen some of our videos where we've been out in the field doing some live streaming and such, so we're just going to kind of go through a lot of the different components. First off, if you're going to be doing web things like this, and you've watched some of our stuff, you'll notice that my video is generally a lot nicer or a lot cleaner, sharper, what have you, than the person I'm interviewing. Part of that is because what we're doing is we're bringing the videos in. The person I'm interviewing is coming in either via FaceTime or Skype, and we're capturing their image, and their image is generally coming off a webcam. If they're lucky, they've got a webcam, like a Logitech, a little bit higher. I think this is a 920. This is actually a very nice one, but it's still not the quality of what you're seeing right now. I like this one because, and we've used this one on many occasions, because this one actually has the ability to mount to a tripod, a camera tripod. So you can mount this to a real tripod if you wanted to, and have it sitting on the desk rather than clipping onto the top of a computer. We've used the 920 a little bit. Generally, when you've seen some of my videos where I'm talking here and then all of a sudden we're looking down, say at a mixer or a controller or something, that's what we've used for that. But most of the time, what we're running through the main is through a Canon digital camcorder. We were using the Vixia. This is the HF-G10. The one that you're actually seeing me on right now is the G30. Both cameras we've used, and we just literally run out of the side. They've got the HDMI, the mini HDMI, and that goes into the regular HDMI, because you get the nice little cable right here. And I've got wires all over right now because we've actually been doing, we were practicing with 2 camera shots. That's why the 10 and the 30 are both here, because now with the software, and I'll talk about the software in a minute, we can do 2 cameras. So if I wanted to interview someone and they were sitting right here, I could have one camera, they could have one camera, we could have our own microphones doing shotgun mics and carrying a conversation, and it would look like we were in 2 different locations, even if we were within feet of each other, except there might be some audio bleed. Anyway, so the HDMI, this is a component that a person needs to make sure you have good quality, is the HDMI mini here to the regular HDMI. There's micro. Micro is used on some devices, usually tablets, but not so much on camcorders, especially the Canon camcorders. You can get some cheaper ones. I know Walmart carries some cheap ones. I have I've purchased better quality ones because I don't want to have this flipping out and having this be a problem. So that is one of the devices. So we then have the HDMI signal coming off the camera. We have to now get it from the camera to the computer. We use the Blackmagic design. This is the mini recorder, and the one that you're actually seeing right now that's doing is the Blackmagic design. This is the intensity. What is it? The intensity. Oh gosh, I can't see what that was. Anyway, that was the first one I purchased. It's about a $500 piece, and it works well. Ironically, this is $145. Works just as well, and it produces a lot less heat. This guy right now, because of it going, it actually has a little. I think there's a fan in there because I can hear it running every once in a while. Doesn't produce heat. Same capture capability. We're getting a 1080p coming in from the camera to the software. Granted, we don't broadcast or edit or do anything at 1080p because the world's just not ready for 1080p on a consistent basis, especially online. But we have that capability. Again, the Ultra little mini recorders. I've become a huge fan of these. I think we have 3 or 4 of these now, and the software we'll come back to why we have that many of those. So we got the Canon camera, but now capturing the audio. There's a couple of different ways to do that. Initially, some of our early videos we were capturing, and even when we were in the field, we're capturing with shotgun microphones. In this particular, this is the Rode. This is the professional line shotgun mic, and then we have the Rode, kind of the Snowball. It would be an external microphone. One thing you'll notice on these two, if you take a look, it's a cold shoe connection to the camcorder. This is a regular size shoe, and then it has a mini shoe. And our Canon, the G series of Canons, has a mini shoe, and actually the G30 has 2 shoes on it. It has a mini and a full size. So in that one, I don't need to have this little adapter. But literally for the G10 and the G20, they both need this little adapter, which is going from a mini to a regular shoe. And it's if you don't know that and you buy the camera and you're ready to put the shotgun mic on, it's kind of disappointing that you have to buy that. The mini is kind of common on some of the camcorders, so pay attention to what size shoe. The hot shoe, cold shoe thing, the hot shoe is really only if you're going to be powering something. Some microphones work on a hot shoe, some flash accessories work on a hot shoe, and even some lights do. I don't have anything that uses hot shoe with Canon anymore. I used to, don't have it anymore. But anyway, so what I have on that camera right now, I do have a shotgun mic up there. It's actually a backup mic in case I need it, but I'm not using it right now. That's the regular one, professional one, and a Snowball. The regular one and the shotgun mic here, the Pro version, have that noise cancellation from the side. Basically, that it's picking up in front, it's picking up mainly here, secondary here, very little here and here. So if I'm interviewing someone, I would want it to be pointing to where we're talking and turning a little bit to talk towards it. If I'm interviewing someone and I'm behind the camera, this works too, where I'm interviewing you and you're talking to it and I'm talking to the backside, and it's not too bad. What doesn't work is if I'm interviewing you, you're talking to this and I'm talking to the side of this. That doesn't work. So when I've done that, I've had to literally come over here and have it so I'm in front a little bit and talking to it. That's great for NAMM or places where it's really loud. That can do a lot. Some places are just too loud, and you'll have to go to a handheld, or it's not even truthfully worth shooting. The Snowball mic. What this is it's a stereo mic, and they have the same type of features where it can roll off the bass. These two do. It can set the gain if it's going to be a down 10 dB, 0 or plus, so you've got some flexibility. But the biggest difference between this and the other is that this is more of an omnidirectional. So its pickup pattern is basically, if I'm holding it, I'm going to hold it so it's up instead of forward. But the pickup pattern is kind of to the side, and then it basically is this big snowball and coming back. So it doesn't pick up a ton behind, but it still picks up a little bit. But its focus is basically picking up everything. So like if a person's outside, and it's a beautiful summer day, and there's kids playing outside. If I'm using this, you will hear me, and you will hear the kids, and the kids might be 25, 30 feet away, and you'll hear us both like we're right there. Where if I were using a shotgun mic, again, the children are out playing, and if this is aimed at me, you're going to hear me, and you probably may not even hear the children playing, 20 feet off, stage left or camera left. So, Snowball's great. I actually use this for church service. I did use it in here for a couple of videos, and I found out that it's a noisy room. It's our office is a steel pole shed, insulated steel pole shed here, kind of a warehouse thing, and you've got the little noises. It actually picked up the fan noise from the Blackmagic intensity box, and we have heat in the floor. And when things would kick in, you'd hear that little bit of a motor pump thing going on, and it's really quiet. I mean, I probably can't hear it, but this picked it up. So that's onboard microphones when we're using that. What I'm using today, though, is actually I'll hold one up. We're using kind of studio mics. I've got a couple of different condenser type microphones, a phantom power going in. They sit like so. Where is it? Like so, label towards you, and it basically is picking up sound here. Nice microphones. They make a much better. It doesn't have that echoey sound to it, like it's an open chamber. It's giving you more of that radio sound. And these are like the the $70 to $100 microphones, and they work pretty well. But and I could upgrade and take another step up. In the broadcast area, they talk about the Neumann microphones being kind of the cat's meow. That's the industry standard. They're $1,500 to $3,000 or more for a microphone to do just literally what I'm doing with it. The thing with those microphones is that in this situation, they are so sensitive and pick up everything. It would make it sound like I was sitting like literally right next to you. You would sound much better than what I've got right now. But you would be able to hear when I'm shifting on my chair, you would hear that. If I have a creaky elbow, you would hear that. If the shirt is rustling, you would hear that, because those microphones are so sensitive and they pick up everything. So if I were going to, I can upgrade from this and probably get in that $300 range, and it would give you a better sound here, but it wouldn't pick up. But if I get into a little bit, taking this step up again, that's one of the big complaints, is that you need to have a real recording, that you have to have a chamber basically that is silenced so you can do the recording, that has the different baffles, sound baffles on the wall and different things. And unfortunately, I'm not going to go in. Yeah, I don't have that kind of that space, time, what have you, because this is a multi-purpose facility here. Not only is it the little studio, but it's warehouse for gear over there. I do more shooting of video over there, and then there's the office over there with the computers and everything that goes on. So, yeah, not too functional. So anyway, that's what we're using right now. We're using that. We're coming into it with an M audio, a USB, but this particular one's an M audio. I'm going to show you an Icon version because it's very, very similar and such. But the Icon that we're looking at here is where's the model on this guy? This is the Mic U Solo. Great little unit, actually. I really like this, and I've heard some really good things about it. But what this will allow a person to do is run that XLR in to the guy, and then you've got your controls. You can do headphones on it and such, but it takes it into the board. So you have a good quality microphone input, and so you've got some control of the volume going in. But literally USB out of this into the computer. We have to do some setup. Now I'm on a Mac system here. I have to do some setup once in a while where I go into the system preferences area, and you can check your audio inputs there and do a little bit what have you. But applications, you go to the applications folder, utility folder, and you go to your MIDI audio setup. And when you go into that, that's where you have to do some tweaking and fine-tuning of the sound quality. Generally, the inputs, the outputs, and the speed, because you'll notice in some of the videos where our voice and the audio aren't synced up. Generally, that's because the microphone is set maybe at 48,000, and the sound card or the sound output is at 44,000. And when they don't jive, over the course of the length of the video, it will get worse and worse. So that's something that we found out the hard way, and we're still not perfect with it. There's times where it's off a little bit, and it's frustrating, but it's something to be aware of. That's, again, Mac applications folder, utilities folder, and it's the MIDI audio setup. It looks like a keyboard, and that's where you do a lot of the adjusting of sound and such to get things as good as possible. Okay, getting back to the one last thing about the sound and the microphone on the camcorder. I went actually with the boom mics for the longest time, because that audio would come in through the HDMI, and that was synced up like every time. We never had a problem with that. So there's actually some applications where I'm still going to use that, even though this sounds better. When we're going to be doing some events where we're out in the field, that's the microphones we're going to be using and taking that audio, because it syncs up with the cameras. But anyway, let's continue on. When we get to the computer side of it, now I wonder if I can show you a little bit here. Okay, so now we're looking at a screenshot of Wirecast, actually. I was going to try to actually go and do a capture, because what Wirecast will allow you to do is you're looking at that screenshot right down there. You see that there's 3 different rows of icons, and what it allows you to do is take shots. basically different shots, and you're seeing a variety of different things we've got from the different nights, little segments that we can put up. And what those are, in some cases, is actually a video. Like it could be a 10-minute video, it could be a 30-second video, or some of those are different camera shots where it's this camera and this camera, or this camera and a capture, a desktop capture, what have you. So there's a lot of different things. There's different microphone shots. They're just a variety of shots. But they're in the 3 rows. You see there's the top row with the 4 right there, and then below that is, where even farther below that is, I don't know what, 6, 7, 9, 3, 6, yeah, 9 different, and then there's another row below that. The top row is, let me back up, they're in layers, so that the bottom layer is literally the bottom, and then if you want to put something over top of it, and you want to put something over top of it again, you can. And there's, I think, 5 total layers that you can use. The time that becomes kind of cool with the Wirecast program is like if you're going to do like an overlay. So if you watched Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe, and we have the hashtag, you can see it literally right there. I think it's the 4th one on the top row. It's the hashtag that pops up, the hashtag NLFXBen. So when we're talking, wanting people to, hey, go to Twitter and ask questions, that's what that is. And we can make it so it appears as we're talking, and then we can click a blank shot, which is the shot on the very far left, and then that will take it off, and off we go. The next layer down, you see with the 9 in a row, those are our main camera shots that we use, and we can change those. Say if we had that NLFXBen going on, we can change the ones below, and that would stay as long as we weren't messing around with that layer. But we can change back and forth between different cameras and shots and what have you. We can set up so some camera shots, we could have the same shot where I'm talking to this camera, but I could have this microphone be one shot, and then I could change it where that microphone's that shot, and then the microphone on board's the third shot, to whatever. But there's a lot of cool flexibility in that, and generally you can change those quite easily with the Wirecast. It's kind of a cool program. You've seen the 2 pictures of me there. The left one is the preview, and the right one is what's actually going to be broadcast. So if I'm live streaming, it would be broadcast out to YouTube, because this is Wirecast for YouTube. If I had, if we were doing like monitors, if we were doing a conference or something, when we're doing that, and we want to have a live camera on the screens, what's on the right would be what's going out to the external video outs, whether that's going to projectors or monitors or what have you. But that's the live. On the right, left is that. So what you'll be playing, or we'll have whatever's going on the right, and then you can get you click on what you want to come up next as your next scene. So let's say right now what you see there is this camera shot. But now say I was going to end the show and I want to put up the DJNTV logo, I would click that, it would go into the left, and then you can see in the middle, kind of in the very middle, is it should be a dissolve, smooth, and an arrow that's going that way. That arrow, basically, you click that, and then it moves that scene from preview to the live. So you can have that, and when the time's right, you can hit that, and off it goes. At the very top, there's a couple of things, and you're not seeing any numbers in there, but you've got I'll just kind of go from the left. You've got the Wirecast for YouTube logo, then you've got a stream button, which is once you're hooked up to YouTube, you have YouTube's live events, you can click that, it'll stream, then you do some more YouTube stuff, and then you're good to go. You can also set up to record a MP4, record right to your computer without having to stream, which is kind of a cool feature. Some of the other applications out there did not have that capability. This does. I really like that. You see there, I think if you can see it, the next there's a number. It gives you times. How long have you been streaming? How long have you been recording? What have you? And then continuing over, you see it should be an F frames per second, I believe, is the next one. And then if you've got a good connection, usually you'll get 29 to 30 frames per second. We stream, our live streaming, we stream at 720p. So we want a kilobit. The next one's a kilobit per second, and that we like to have around between 17 and 2500, and so that gives us a nice. And what's neat about it, the next one tells you how much of the CPU that it's taking. Is it maxing out your computer? Is it using 50%? I have a MacBook Air, a newer MacBook Air, not the new S that just came out like here in the last few days, of course, but it can do this. And I use it for streaming, and it's 90 to 95 to 97, sometimes even 101% of the processor is being used, and it can push it, but it still does the job, and you've watched a lot of the streams that it's handled. I'm on in the office here. I've got the iMac when we're doing that, and it's usually in the 60 to 70, and that's not a big graphics card. If I'd have a bigger graphics card in here, and the memory all bumped up. This has got decent memory. I think 512 for a graphics memory on it, and it's got an SSD. And the SSD is probably what makes it so it's doing it as efficiently as possible. On the very right, you can't see there's little green dots there. On the very right, there's the volume. You can see that, so I can tell what kind of signal I'm getting from my microphone if I'm talking and doing what have you. And then the very right is where I can click if I want to listen to it live, in essence, which of course you don't want to do because you can get nasty feedback loops unless I'm wearing headphones, and I do, but not too often. So, but that's Wirecast. One of the things, of course, that a person can do with this is you can capture part of the screen. And that's a really cool feature, and that can happen with two ways. There's this application called Desktop Presenter that can be used with Ustream's version of this, or it can be used with Wirecast. And what you can do with that is you can define a part of the screen that you want to capture. Whether you want to make the actual separate app of Desktop Presenter, you can actually draw a box. In essence, this is the box I want to capture, and it will capture that. And you can also set it to capture a window. Say if you had, in our case, we all have a Skype window that when we're Skyping with someone, and we want to capture that Skype window, and it will do that. So then if you look at, you probably can't really see it, but you see in that second row, there's the far one that's got a yellow rectangle around. The one to the left of that, that's actually a scene that's not set up properly, but that's a picture of me as you look at it, it would be on the left. My image is on the left, like you're seeing right now, and the right would have been a screen capture of Wirecast, and that's all. It was having this infinite loop thing going on visually, and it was really bugging me out. So that's why we didn't do it that way. I just did a screen catch, but I could have that Skype there, and then I could set it up, do some cropping to get it in, and adjust the size of the person so the two of us are the same size, about the same everything. And with the audio capture, it will capture the audio. I found that Wirecast has its own built-in. It has a desktop presenter, so you can make one through Wirecast, or you can also have a secondary one through the standalone app. The standalone app, the audio pickup just doesn't seem to be quite as good from what I picked up as far as the timing and things. It seems like we had more issues with it, but the one built into Wirecast worked much better. And that's something, if you guys are really interested in more information about Wirecast, we've been using this a lot, and I can give you a pretty in-depth tutorial of it. But needless to say, the cool part about it is that that's where you had my video that was really good, because I'm getting it on that, and I'm that as you look at it, I'm the left image, and the other person's coming into their Skype on a lower resolution camera, and if they're having issues with bandwidth, it can get really grainy really quick, and it's difficult, but it gives you the for this day and age with internet, and as it's growing and things are getting faster and technology is moving along, it's a good start. But I'm waiting for the day when all of us are on cameras of that quality and we all look much better. That's a really quite important thing. So anyway, Wirecast, we bring things in. Skype, FaceTime, doesn't matter. You can capture virtually anything. If I were doing, when I'm doing the live things with Wirecast for churches, I will actually have PowerPoint being done, or Pro Presenter. If you're into church things and you're in the Mac world, you know what Pro Presenter is. But we use those applications, and we actually capture using the desktop presenter capture. We capture the slideshow and we can put it through there and put it onto a recording. So we're recording church services or recording conferences, what have you. Okay, Wirecast, that's that. Lighting. One of the things that people have asked about is the lighting also. What I have is I've got a couple of soft boxes. I mean, literally nothing fancy. Going to Amazon and finding a couple of soft boxes, fluorescent soft boxes. There's two of them up right now. One that side, one that side. The one over there has the I think they're 45 watt fluorescents, and they have a device in there that has four of them, or it can have four of them. I have three, and then my fourth bulb, to give a little color, is a pink fluorescent. These I picked these up at Walmart because I can't find them anywhere else. But these were the Susan Corman the Pure pink fluorescent bulbs. So what I've done is I've actually have one in each fixture, and that gives me a little bit of color, so I'm not washed out with the pale white guy, because from Minnesota, I mean, we're usually pale enough the way it is. So it gives a little bit of color, and makes for a much warmer video. I've gone without that, and yeah, it's just, I look really, really washed out. So that's kind of a cool little thing. They were $5 bulbs, and like today now, this is actually I'm actually shooting this. Yes, this is pre-recorded because I'm at a show right now. While this is being seen, I'm at a show. I shot this, it's actually daytime, so instead of even having all the lights on, what's kind of cool about the softbox is I can shut some off. So I've only got 2 bulbs on in each one right now. I've got one pink, and that one's not even doing a pink, it's just doing the 2 white. And it's still giving plenty of light in here because I've got a lot of ambient lights coming through different, the office is really well windowed. So, I mean, this behind me, there's a big, beautiful window behind me, and I've got 3 layers of cloth to help block the light. Otherwise, you could see right through my curtain backdrop. So that's the lighting, microphone lighting. Yeah, I think that's the main parts of that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about with Wirecast, a couple of things that it can do that I'm using for conferences. One of which is Wirecast can have 2 camcorders hooked up to it. A typical Mac like the Retinas or even the iMacs, but when I go mobile, I do Retina. I've got my Retina laptop from 2013, I think was what it was. And getting back to the Blackmagic, you can actually run 2 of these with the Thunderbolt. So I can hook 2 of these up because there's 2 Thunderbolt jacks on that. And it's also got an HDMI out. So the video out going to the screens, HDMI out on the laptop, but I'm using 2 of the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolts, you can get the, I think there's a 3, 6, and 16-inch, whatever. I prefer the shorter ones because I want everything's on the same table and such, and I think the shorter ones, just are nice, and then you're not having that extra wire around. But yeah, I can put 2 of these together. The software for Wirecast will find it. We used to use a program called Boinx, B-O-I-N-X TV. Very nice broadcast program and a lot of capability. The problem at Boinx TV, it cannot recognize two camcorders. So if I needed just one, I can do some incredible things with Boinx TV that I cannot do in Wirecast. But there's such a little bit of, I can make Wirecast work. I'd rather have 2 high-quality cameras doing their things and going from there. So the problem is, of course, if I've got 2 cameras and if I'm using HDMI, you saw this HDMI, is that the HDMI wires are only 6 feet long. And one of the big things with HDMI is that it doesn't have a long run. Coming from the computer to the projector, I can go longer with that. And the way I can go longer with that is I can generally go 50 feet, and then I have to have an amplification, and then maybe another 25, and then I'm pretty much pushing the limits of it. But here's kind of a cool little thing I want to show you for running a longer distance. These are HDMI extenders, and by Cat 6. I couldn't even tell you who made these. Again, it's Amazon. Somebody made them. Yeah. They're out there. You can run from the laptop. I ran a 12-inch HDMI into the first one, and then coming out of this one, another 12-inch or so into the projector. It's connected by one Cat 6, not a Cat 5, a Cat 6. Cat 6, a little heavier duty. This particular one is a non-twisting, non-binding, whatever they call it. I don't know. But that particular device will allow me to run an HDMI up to 150 feet, I think it is. Just an incredible distance. For my particular case, I wanted to be able to use this and not have to use a booster. So I can go from this. Actually, I've got a 50-foot. I've got a 50-foot here. I had a 25-foot I was playing with to test everything, and I just tested with a 50, and then I tested it with 100. All 3 worked, but I like my 50 is what I'm after. But what we're going to do is we're going to run that from the laptop 50 feet to a splitter. Not going to do a booster on that because I need my boosters on the other side. And we'll get to that in a second. To a splitter, and then 50 feet to the projectors. And I tested that system. I'm very happy, and it worked well. So I will have 2 projectors with the HDMI signal on with the PowerPoint and everything will be happy. So pretty excited about that. If I need to go a little bit longer, again, I've got the 100-foot guy also, but this one's black and I can tape it down. It looks nice. The other one's a very bright white. So depending upon the floor, it may not look so cool. But the thing that I wanted to show you, where is that guy? I just had it here. Here it is. This is a cool little device. This is an HDMI amplifier, just a tiny little thing. It has power coming in. It's plugged in. It's a 110. you go right from your signal. In this particular case, where I'm going to be using this is actually on the camcorder. The camcorders can only run a short distance, and then the longest I've ever been able to make one run is 20 feet. And then after that, I lost the signal. Well, I've been taking this guy, and I come with that first 6 foot out of the camcorder, which is this cable right here. Plug this in. Then I ran I think I've got a 35 foot here we were testing it with. A 35 foot HDMI from that little booster. This is on the camcorder now, between a camcorder and the little recorder. Then we went to 35 feet. So now I'm basically around 30 feet. I can move that camcorder about 30 feet away. So I can have my table here and my one camera here. I can move the other one about 30 feet away, and I should be able to. We're testing it here. Everything worked very well. Without this, if I'm just using a typical HDMI connector, 12 feet maybe, the 6 and maybe another 9. Maybe another 12 feet, and then, that's about as far as I can go. You can't get 20 feet, for surely. So, pretty excited about that. That's going to be on Sunday. While this is going live, that's the show we're going to be doing. Is we're going to have the 2 cameras, the 2 big screens, trying to run HDMI the whole way. I'm a realist enough to realize that the HDMI, if I have to, the camcorders may get closer, and if the HDMI doesn't work for projectors, I may have to go VGA. I have that connection. If you've some of my videos, you've seen that. I'm going to be shooting a video this weekend, and I'll be covering that and showing that to you next week, so you can get an idea of how everything worked and such. And everything did, yay. If not, well, you're going to hear about it and see it. That's for sure. So, anyway, so that's the video side of what we've been doing here, and the things behind that. Again, if you want to see more information about Wirecast and want me to actually go through and do more of an in-depth tutorial on that, I will do that. Not on probably a DJNTV thing. I'll just do that as a Disc Jockey News separate video, so you can check that out. Otherwise, this week's shows. Monday night, tomorrow night, we've got Jason and Bill coming back with their show, the Bill and Jason Show. Great stuff. Just a really kind of a fun time just to hang out. What I like to do is I put that on. I put it up in a corner as I'm surfing and things, so I can listen and kind of refer back and watch a little bit, because just it's entertaining, silly stuff, and they talk about some DJ things that are just it's not a really stressful. Oh wow, I got to try to remember and take notes. No, it's just a time to kick back, relax, and have a good time with Bill and Jason. Tuesday night, we've got a special version of Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. Ben and I actually got to have a special guest, and Tuesday night you're going to see we needed a special expert, and you'll get to see it Tuesday night. We're kind of excited. It was kind of a big thing. We went and we were on location, and if you get a chance to check that out Tuesday night at 9:30 at DJNTV.com. Wednesday night will be our lighting chat night. Thursday night is Mobile Music Thursday with Jason Jones, covering some of the things working on the dance floor and talking to folks about music. And it's going to be another busy week on DJNTV. You can check out more shows every night that we're broadcasting or shows up. You go to DJNTV.com, the very top box, 9:30. It's there. So at 9:30, you click refresh, and boom, you will see the brand new show. Until 9:30, you're going to see the show from the day before or the last show that we broadcast. But as soon as it's at 9:30, click refresh. You're going to see it right there, and enjoy something new from DJNTV, like 5 nights a week. Anyway, this is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. Have yourself a great night. Good night.